What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a special video. If you can't tell by the blazer, if you can't tell by the collared shirt, if you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video we're doing my 2024 Manga Awards. Now there's some stipulations to go with these Manga Awards. The first stipulation and the main one is this is manga I read this year. So not necessarily manga I completed, but manga I read this year. Now, a lot of you know that I like to keep it physical, so most of these, in fact, I think all of these are physical. All of these, I think, except one off the top of my head, two or three. Anyway, the point is, it's mainly physical volumes. So yeah, only manga I've read. I didn't have to finish it. My stipulation is that I at least read 2 volumes or 20 chapters worth, because some of them were online, so I can't do 2 volumes. I did 20 chapters. But either way, the point still stands. It's manga I specifically read this year. It's not, actually new manga of 2024 or manga that came out in 2024. It's literally just series I read. So if I were next year to start Berserk is going to be on those awards. So let's just make sure that that's clear. I think that's really it. Is that it's just manga I read. I just wanted that to be clear because I didn't want people to be like, well, this came out, and I'm going to explain every single award. I have my phone here because this is my list of awards. We have 14-ish awards. These are not set in stone. Next year, I know of a few that I already want to add, such as Best Shoujo, Best Josei, because I have Best Shonen and Best Seinen on here, so I want to add those 2. And there might be some other stuff I think of as I read more series. But either way, really quickly, I'm going to show you the series that I read this year so you know where I'm picking from. I don't think I left anything off, but we'll see. I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. But I guarantee you I didn't leave off anything that won. I guarantee you that. So without further ado, after you have seen what I've read this year, let's go ahead and get into the first award. So the first award I have for you today, and I have a trophy. This is my baseball trophy from when I was like 12. I was really good at baseball. I don't know if I've ever said it on this channel, but baseball was my sport. I wish I stuck to it. Anyway, I only have 1 trophy, so all of them get this 1 trophy. But still, for how it looks, it's gonna look great. For the first award we have for you today. No, wait. Sorry, I clicked. I thought I deleted all my awards, but no, they're here. For the first award we have for you today, it is most underrated manga. And the winner for most underrated manga is Happiness by Shujo Oshimi. So the reason I have it as most underrated manga, it does not necessarily underrated by me. I just don't see enough people talking about it. And if they do talk about it, they talk about it kind of in passing. Like, this is another good Shujo Oshimi manga. I really like it. But for me, it's more than that. Like, I like the artwork in here. I like how it keeps you guessing. I like kind of the little world that was built into here. While it's not, super in depth, but there's still like some twists and turns. I like our characters. I like that Shujo Oshimi just not afraid to go there. And I just don't think enough people talk about it. And when they do, it's not in detail. And I will even blame myself because I think I released a Happiness video where I did a review, and I was still very early into how I wanted to do this channel, and I still very well am. There's a lot of things that I want to do on this channel. There's a lot of things that I definitely can see myself I need to get better at. And maybe I'll make a video for next year talking about that. Just like, these are things I want to improve on the channel. And my review skills definitely are one of them, because I do want to go more in depth. I don't want to be like, this is the review, this is the book. I kind of want to do maybe even not a straight up review, maybe character deep dives, maybe plot deep dives, world deep dives, like understanding Shujo Oshimi better. Like, I know I did a video not too long ago. I don't know when I did this video, but a video talking about Tatsuki Fujimoto as I read Chainsaw Man, Look Back, Goodbye Eerie. I would like to do more about different manga, and Shujo Oshimi definitely on there. But either way, I say it's most underrated, not because I don't think people are talking about it at all, or not because I don't think anyone likes it. It's more so, when people do talk about it, it's very, very vague. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's just the world we live in. But I definitely think this just deserves more praise. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this series. So the next award we have for you is Best Shonen. And I read a good amount of shonen this year. But there was one shonen that jumped out. No pun intended, but that was a bar. There was one shonen that jumped out to me that I will never forget. And that sounds crazy, but I will never forget this manga. The type of fun that I've had with this manga is just unmatched. And while I personally don't have it as my greatest manga of all time, and I have a list of that, and granted, I haven't read that much, but still, I think for what it's worth, I think it's second. Either way, maybe third. I don't know. We'll get to that. I'm doing a video on that. This shonen is just an incredible time, and right now it has the hottest anime in the world, I believe, currently going, and that's Dandadan. What is there to say about Dandadan? I mean, just this manga, it has you feel all the feels. There's good artwork in here, good storytelling in here. It's fun, it can be serious, it can be deep. There's some good stuff in here. And then I didn't take this into consideration in terms of, you know, me picking it for the award, but the anime just did such a good job of adapting what the manga did. Like it really, really brought it to life. And when reading this, and I knew the anime was coming out, I was just like, how are they like this wacky, this insane, but yet this grounded, this just intricate. What are they going to do? Like, are they going to make it too wacky? Are they going to dial it back too much? Because it is the perfect mix. I think Yukinobu Tatsu just did a fantastic job with this manga. And I mean, they did it. They did it with the anime, and you can't create an anime that special without having a manga that special. And that's exactly what that is. So Best Shonen easily goes to Dandadan. So the next one I have is next Seinen. And I actually struggled with this only because at the time, when I first started doing this, getting awards together, I didn't realize this was a Seinen, but it is. And that is Tokyo Ghoul. As you all know, I read Tokyo Ghoul this year, of course, or else it wouldn't be on the list or have an award, but I really enjoyed it. I think the enjoyment I got out of this is a lot of it had to come from only watch the anime up until this point. So reading this for the first time just made me just realize how much I was missing out, and just realize how it made me mad at the anime because this is so good. I mean, just the character development in here, the artwork in here, the different sides of the coin. Ken Kaneki is just one of my favorite characters. I like his character development particularly. We're getting to see different sides of the world, as I mentioned, but not only different sides of the coin, but you're seeing like even fractions of that. Not every ghoul is the same. Not every officer is the same. It's just, I love this manga so much. I don't have any words for how good it is. Like, it is just that good. The feeling I had when reading this, it felt like I was in a true movie moment at times. And it's just so good. I love the different characters. Great ensemble of characters. Yeah, just really good stuff here. If you have not read Tokyo Ghoul and you found yourself just being satisfied with the anime, I highly suggest you read the manga. The next award we have here is Best World Building. And that goes to, and I'll say this. With this one, I realized a lot of the manga I read didn't have the best world building. Tokyo Ghoul being one of them, Dandadan, it's still developing, and that could be part of my fault. Like, that's the beauty of my awards, is that it's what I've read so far. So next year I could read the second half of Dandadan, because as y'all know, I don't read too much digitally, so I could easily catch up to the 150 chapters or something it is, but I'm reading it physically and be like, oh wow, this world building is fantastic. It can win the award next year. So it just because it won an award this year, as long as I read it next year, it can be up for an award next year. So that's the beauty of it. But as of right now, there's nothing I felt as though I read that really had a world as interesting as this one, and that is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. And the reason I chose Uzumaki, while the world building may not be the best, like this may not be the best, I completely understand that. But I think the way Junji Ito decided to tell the story by touching on different characters and touching on different aspects of that local town, I think that was enough to make you feel how scary this world was. Of course, you had the reoccurring character, so it's like, you know, the evil's following them, and then the evil, or the spiral, literally wanted Kira, whatever her name is, Kyrie. It was Kyrie. Kyrie, that's her name. It literally won at Kyrie. So I think you could look at that and be like, okay, well, of course, you know, the world's going to seem massive and seem like it's claustrophobic in a way because it wants this one character. And I get that. But I just felt as though every turn there was something new. The Spiral was doing something different. It was impacting the world in a different way. And I did like the Spiral, just while it was following Kyrie, it did not just apply to her. It applied to everyone around him. And that's what I felt like built such a good world, because everybody was impacted in different ways, and some more gruesome than the others. And that's kind of why it took away that award for me. So Uzumaki by Junji Ito, that's why I won Best World Building. The next award I have for you today is a manga or manhwa, I should say, that it's not to say these others didn't have better storytelling in a way. But this is me. Like, this is I'm not trying to be objective. Like, these are all my favorites and just what I felt. So that's why these certain manga, manhwa, whatever, these stories get these awards. It's not me trying to be objective. I have to give it to The Boxer by JH. And the reason I have to give the best storytelling to JH is because I can solely say that, without giving too much away, I compared this in a video, I don't remember what video it was, to One Punch Man. As in, the character in here, is very One Punch-esque. You kind of know what's going to happen. But the storytelling in here is so fantastic that it makes you want to keep reading more. I think the latest physical volume is volume 8, and I really wasn't the highest on that particular volume, but I still wanted to keep reading more because it definitely took a turn in terms of tone, in terms of themes, from the manga previously, the volume previously, which I felt like that volume was one of the single-handedly best volumes I've ever read of anything. It definitely took a complete 180, and I was not completely there for it. However, it still was just such good storytelling that I cared what happened at the end. I cared what happened in the middle. I cared what happened going into volume 9, and that is why I felt as though JH gets the nod here for best storytelling, because I think that to have a character like you, where you know kind of what's going to happen, but still have me invested in the other characters, in you himself, because you realize the battle for him is not in the ring. It's in life. And I don't know. I just think taking that approach, while it may not be, a brand new, it's not like it's never been done. It was just refreshing. And I really, really enjoyed this. So that's why The Boxer gets the award for best storytelling. Next award we have is best art. And this, once again, is just what I feel as though is the best. And there's some good stuff in here. I mean, Tokyo Ghoul has some dope art. The Boxer has some dope art. Junji Ito has some horrifying elements in his art. They're like, different shadings and different, how gruesome and disgusting, honestly, are some of the characters drawn. And it's that way. It's so gritty, and it's supposed to feel like you're in that world. And I think that's a fantastic job. Like that, honestly, Uzumaki didn't win, but it was high on there because I really thought about it. But I ended up giving the award to Dandadan by Yukinobu Tatsu. Once again, that's the second award for Dandadan. Just because the artwork in here is so detailed, you have different characters, you have different outfits and scenarios and just so many different things, and all of it just looks great. With GG, or I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but GG, and then, such an arc in which I read where they go into the underground, like the art there was just fantastic. The art just in the beginning is fantastic when you have the different monsters. Like having that this is the thing, to pull off the crazy stuff that you have in here, it's not like, it wouldn't work if the art wasn't good, if that makes any sense. So to do all these wacky, wild things, it just would not work if the art wasn't good for this particular story. Because I think for Chainsaw Man, the art is okay. Like there's some times where it's really good, but it's really grungy. Once again, as I was saying about Uzumaki, I think that fits Chainsaw Man. But for here, you couldn't pull up the wackiness without having without having some decent art. And the art in here is extremely detailed, extremely beautiful. Like it's some really, really good stuff. So once again, Dandadan wins best art for 2024. So now we're at award number 7. So we have about 7 more awards to go. And this one is for best arc. So last one was best art. This is for best arc. And I chose Tokyo Ghoul for having the best arc. The particular arc is the owl suppression arc. So basically the end. It felt like Endgame. It felt really like stakes were really high. You had beautiful panels of just, you know, did it feel like the ghouls were going to win? Should you even be rooting for the ghouls? There was just so many emotional strings in there. It just felt like it was all coming to a halt. You didn't know who was going to win. You didn't know, even when it ended, it's like, oh, did they really win? Did they really lose? Like, it was just so much happening in this arc. I felt like the tension was high. As I mentioned earlier, like the stakes were high, but I mean, I'm not saying high as in like, oh, I'm just anticipating what happens next. No, like it really felt as though I knew Ree was a thing, but I don't know too much about Ree, so it could be my own fault. But I was like, what happens after this? This arc to me was so good just because you just had no idea what was going to happen. Every panel, every picture just felt, you just feel like the tension in it. And I think to have a build up like that, to kind of like slowly fall into a plateau to where it ended up somehow still being a good transition into Ree, I think that's just incredible stuff. So while that technically I don't think is the last arc, it was a good way to kind of like hit the apex and then kind of level out to go into the next, you know, whole set of the story. But yeah, I really enjoyed this owl suppression arc. It put so many like ends on loose strings that we had and leading up to it. It felt worthy of the build up. I don't know. It was just a really good arc. It could be unfair, I guess, choosing like an ending arc or apex arc, but I don't know. I really enjoyed it. So once again, the owl suppression arc in Tokyo Ghoul gets best arc to me. So now we get into some character work, and of course I love characters. That's what helps build these stories for me. And this award is best ensemble, so best group of characters. And it doesn't matter how many you got. I'm just big on, if you're going to have a bunch of characters, make sure you use them. And what story uses their other characters better than this? Dandadan, once again, by Yukinobu Tatsu. Dandadan, I know this is his third award already, but I think from Akurun to Momo to Gigi to the grandma to Turbo Granny to the different monsters you run into to I can't remember the other guy's name, the guy with the glasses. I can't think of his name. I already said Akurun, but the other guy that you meet later. There's just a bunch of, I'm missing the girl's name. Like I'm bad with names, but there's a bunch of characters in here and they're all memorable. They all get their own story to an extent, even though I'm bad at names. Don't let my poor, memory fail you of that. But you just have so much to work with. Each character brings something to the story. At least at the point where I'm at, no one has just been introduced to fall off. They keep bringing back certain characters who you thought, it was kind of over for them, and they keep having an intricate part into the story, even if it's for a second. Like, I liked everything about this manga, if you can't tell. But yeah, the ensemble of characters in here is probably the best I've read this year, easily. So that's why it wins best ensemble. Now, best supporting character is different, and I see a supporting character as they're not the main character, but you see them a lot. You don't have to see them a lot throughout the entire story. You just need to see them a lot at some point. They can't just be a nobody character, but they also don't, obviously can't be the main character. And that's where Chainsaw Man comes into handy, because I am choosing Power from Chainsaw Man. If y'all don't know, Power is one of my favorite characters. I wouldn't say ever, but she's easily one of my favorite characters. Just from characters I've read this year. I just like how feisty she was. She was very funny. She was like a good comedic relief. But what was funny is that while I would definitely say it was written to be funny. Like Tatsuki Fujimoto wrote her in ways to be funny. She was serious. Like, she was completely serious. It just so happened that, just in kind of the banter she had with Denji and the other characters was just funny. But she was dead serious. And I think that was just so fun to me. I just really enjoyed Power. I like what she did for the story. I like what she did for Denji. I liked her power. No pun intended. But yeah, she was just a really, really fun character. So, of course, Power, once again, gets the award for me from Chainsaw Man. Best main character from a story. So, I have another award, spoiler alert, that's called Best Character Development. That doesn't necessarily mean you're the best main character. I could have picked a character development from a character that was a supporting character. It's just character development altogether. And this guy has some development, and definitely, you know, when I take into account these characters, you definitely have to think about how they develop. You don't want the same character unless it's a short series or something like that. But this guy has developed as well, and that could be a spoiler alert. And it could be recency bias. That also could be a spoiler alert. But Sung Jin-woo, solo leveling. That is my best main character of 2024. What I like about him is that while it does seem like the change was overnight, I think that being in his head the whole time allows me to like really understand what he's thinking at all times, and I think that helps. But also, I feel as though he was already a cool guy, he was just weak. So for him to be strong and then see how he's adapting to these abilities, adapting to the world around him, adapting to not only the abilities and not only the world, but like the people and just how everything is changing, and kind of take that on full stride. It almost feels as though it's like, my wife brought it up in that video we did where we went to go see the movie. It almost feels Goku-esque at times where it's like, okay, you know what's going to happen. You know how good this guy is. But it just feels a little more in-depth. It feels a little more authentic. It doesn't feel as though we don't know what else to do. So we're just going to make Sung Jin-woo, you know, this guy that can't be beat. So to get out of this story. No, it really just feels as though he actually figures it out. He doesn't just hit this new power level. He doesn't just get this new ability. Well, I mean, he does get new abilities, but it's just he ends up figuring out how to get out of the situation. And it's never easy for him. I don't think he's ran into an easy situation yet. You have a good idea of what's going to happen, but still, for him to just overcome all these things and just like, I like his development a lot. I think it's, for me, best main character easily. As I mentioned, we have another award for character development, and I kind of maybe touched on it earlier. I don't remember exactly everything I said, but for character development, I have to go Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. Because with Ken Kaneki, I think that what worked for him is that he was something he didn't want to be. He was repulsed by the idea of being a ghoul. And to see that inner working of him, and even to this day, at least up to where I've read, it's not like he still fully accepted it in terms of this is who I am. It's more so he accepted it in terms of this is who I have to be. And I think that's just even more so leaves room for more character development, but shows that he's come a long, long way. He was already an interesting guy. I mean, you know, a little nerdy, I guess, because he liked books and he was shy and whatnot. But it's just how he's able to kind of almost turn on this switch where I do not want to be this person. I do not want to be this ghoul. Because while we've seen other people just accept it and kind of turn to their ghoul ways, whether that's good or bad, he still tries to keep a really good balance. And plenty of times in the manga, people told him, you are the key to balance. So seeing him be able to develop along the way in terms of getting stronger, getting smarter, getting wiser, but also develop in terms of accepting that he's a ghoul, accepting that he is the balance. I think that's just really creative, and I just really like that for him. I like the different sides. Like, we still get old Ken Kaneki. We still get old, you know, he still likes books and he's still a little nerdy. But like I said, he has a switch to where he's accepted, like, this is what I got to do in order to kind of get the result I'm looking for. And I think that's tremendous character development from compared to where he started. So that's why he wins best character development to me. All right, so we got 3 more awards looking at my list here, and one is Rookie of the Year. So for Rookie of the Year, and I'm a sports person, so that's why I just went Rookie of the Year. I thought it was cool. My thought process for Rookie of the Year is manga that I had no intention of picking up, reading, or anything like that coming into this year, or at all at this year. Rookie of the Year more so fits like I just picked it up and I was surprised. But most surprising didn't really, you know, I don't really, like most surprising could be anything. I liked Rookie of the Year for the title. So that is why I went with it. But it essentially just means something it was not on my radar. I just so happened to pick it up and was very surprised this year. And that is Gachi Akuta. So as you all know, I just read this series. And I have a video where you're going to hear me talk past tense about it. because the video has just taken long because I'm reading like 4 different manga while trying to read other manga at the same time, all for one video. But either way, the point is, I really, really enjoy this series. I think there's some themes in here that relate to real life. I think that the artwork in here resembles just kind of where we are as far as like what this manga is trying to be. Same with Chainsaw Man. They both kind of give me the same vibe in that term. It does feel like almost like a typical shonen, but at times there are already other elements that make you think deeper. Like I feel as though with other shonen, as you grow with the character, you're like, oh, this is all a metaphor. This is all, but no, you're getting the metaphors early and often in here. So I think Miss Kiaruna, at least from what I saw, it was a woman, just did a fantastic job with this manga. I really, really enjoyed it. That's why it's Rookie of the Year. It definitely caught me by surprise. I did not expect this to be as good as it was, or I can't even say as good as it was because some people may think it's not good. I don't know, but either way, it left a humongous impact on me, and that's why it's winning Rookie of the Year. Next, we have Creator of the Year. And this award, I'll be honest with you, it may not be back next year, just because a lot of mangaka, for reasons, like to keep a low profile. So you may not even see them, may not even know their real name at times. And I get that, but I also want to show love. So that's kind of why I want to do it. But I'm kind of teetering the fence on like, just leave them alone and just talk about their work, or just try to show them love. So this year we're showing them love, and maybe next year I'll take it away, just out of respect for them. But with that being said, best creator of the year, in my mind, it was just the creator that left an impact on me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best series. It doesn't necessarily mean I think they're objectively better, but it's just more so. There's a lot of factors that can fall into it, and it's not going to be the same for everybody. Every mangaka is going to impact me in a different way, and that's just the honest truth of it. It's not like we're doing the Grammys here. Like, there's no criteria necessarily. It's just how it makes me feel in relation to the award. And like I said, Creator of the Year is for who just I felt as though impacted me in certain ways, and I'll explain it once I tell you who it is. And that is, once again, JH with The Boxer. It easily could have been Yakinobu Tatsu for Dan Dan Dan, but the reason I chose JH is just simply for the fact that it was a surprise factor. Dan Dan Dan, I definitely didn't know it was going to be like a hit the way it hit me. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that amazing, but I knew it was going to be pretty good. Just from early on. The Boxer, I don't know, it was like a slow burn, and I like the paneling in here is really good. It feels like a movie at times. I felt as though I've said that before. It's just really, really like thematic. Like, I don't know. It just feels like a big production. Like those movies, I say big production, but it feels like one of those movies where there's not really much going on. It's dialogue heavy, and there's action in here, but I'm just talking about a movie perspective. It's dialogue heavy. It feels like Oppenheimer. That's the best way for me to put it, and I don't even know if that makes any sense. But it just feels like you watching it and you're just in digesting everything you're reading. And then at the end, you're like, wow. That's how I felt here with reading The Boxer. And for JH to be able to do that in a manhwa platform where manhwa obviously is not as big as manga, I just think that's tremendous. And so, like I said, the criteria can change, especially if I do the award next year. And that's also why I'm taking it out. It's so wishy-washy that it may not be fair, but that's why JH won Creator of the Year to me. For the award you've all been waiting for, the one to really get this trophy. Maybe I should have did that. Maybe this, the award is strictly for that manga. But the award you all been waiting for, we can't do a manga award videos without Series of the Year. Now, once again, this is my Series of the Year. It's not, this is literally from what I've read, what I feel as though is the best series that series that I read this year. And that is, drumroll please, we don't have any drums. I'm just going to get straight to it. The Series of the Year is there's nothing on here. This is Zaxby's. This is a Zaxby's thing. We don't need that. The Series of the Year is Tokyo Ghoul by Sui Ashida. I love Tokyo Ghoul. I talked a lot about it earlier, so I'm not going to keep talking about it because what was the point? I probably shouldn't have went so into depth earlier, but this has everything I wanted. It just, like I said, it changed how I viewed what manga can really do. It did. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there wasn't too many funny moments in here, as you know, you typically read a shonen, and this is not a shonen, this is a seinen, but still, like, it just, you sometimes manga kind of like likes to keep the balance. And while not every moment was extremely serious in here, there was some stuff, of course, that's funny. It was just, this just felt real. Like, it felt like you're really going through this with Kaneki. It really felt like you were going through this with all the other characters, the coffee shop, and just how they're like basically fugitives there because the government's looking for them, the government and getting their sides of the story and understanding like what happens with them, and then the little girl. Like, it's been a while since I read it, so I can't remember all the names, but the little girl who lost their parents, and then how they were looking for her, and how that one guy was like deranged and bloodthirsty for the ghoul's abilities, and it's not, and kind of like lost sight. Like, it was a lot. And so while it's very, I don't want to say fantasy, because either way, while it's very like over the top in terms of ghouls and powers and blood and all that, it really felt like you're getting real emotions and real characters out of this. Like, it didn't feel like any character was wasted. Don't forget the tremendous scene where the guy had to write, like, anytime you go to war, and I forgot to mention that in the Owl Suppression arc, anytime you go to war or anything like that, you have to write, like, get your affairs in order just in case something happens to you. And the guy couldn't figure out what to write, and he just wrote, "I don't want to die." Like, man, this is just so good. This is just so good. And then you don't think it's gonna be that dark when you start off. It's like, oh, this is dark. There's blood here. There's fighting here. But no, it ends up being 10 times darker than that. And this is just a fantastic series. I just don't have the words for it. But that is why Tokyo Ghoul, take home your series of the year. But anyway, that does it. Thank you all for tuning in for the Shonen Ronins 2K24 2024 Manga Awards. I can't wait to do this again next year. If you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Don't forget to leave a comment on what you think should have won, shouldn't have won based on what I've read. And I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe your own interpretation of the Manga Awards, as far as like what you have. If you were to take these same criteria and compare it to what you've read this year, what are your awards? And also, what awards should I take away and add in the future? Just so that I kind of want to get this to a point where it really is like the Grammys or the Oscars, where Best Picture, Best Actor. Like, I want to do the same things every year because I want to tally how each manga have won. And speaking of tally, here are some graphics just showing you kind of what the awards look like. So how many times a certain manga won and how many times a certain manga won. Just because, like I said, I'm a stats person, I'm a sports person. Stats are cool. So we're going to keep tallying that. So next year when we go into it, if some of these are, all of these I think are still on. I don't think I have one series that's over on this table. Oh, Uzumaki and Happiness. But Tokyo Ghoul, Chainsaw Man, Gachi Yakuta, Don Da Don, Solo Leveling, The Boxer, all are ongoing. So, actually Tokyo Ghoul is not. But I am going to be reading the end of Tokyo Ghoul next year. So it could possibly be on the list because I'm still reading it next year for Tokyo Ghoul Re. So technically it'll be a different series. Either way, the point is, thank you so much for watching. If I do not see you before the end of the year, I would like to say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to you and your family. Please go spend some time with your family while also doing some reading. Let me know what you got for Christmas. I cannot thank you guys enough for just being there. I can't tell you how happy this channel makes me. When I started this channel, it was just on a whim. It was like just going to be a hobby. But as y'all all know, I do have another channel. And one, this channel is quickly catching up to that one, even though I started it 2 years later. And two, I've never had a dull moment on this channel. Like the other channel, I honestly don't even really do that much anymore because it's not fun to me. I don't see at what point this channel becomes not fun. Like I am always going to enjoy it. So, and y'all make that possible. So once again, thank you so much. I hope to get some couple of videos out to you. Like I want to do my TBR for next year. I want to hopefully get that out to you by the end of the year. But if I don't, like I said, happy holidays to you and yours. But once again, thank you so much for watching 1 second of one video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.